Hi everyone, it's Taylor. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm an American expat living in Malaysia, and I like to share my life and travels with you. Well, I was out riding around in my car the other day while my maid was here cleaning, and I just discovered there was a bunch of new houses and other big houses that I hadn't noticed before in my neighborhood. So I thought I need to show my viewers some of the mansions of Ampang. Sound interesting? Stay tuned. Well, as I said, I was out riding around in my car while my cleaning lady, Percy, was here. I usually don't like to stay in the apartment when she's cleaning, and I'm sure she prefers me to be out anyway. But I was going to go spend some time in my favorite little park, Ampang Park, you know, the one with the lake. And when I got there, it was just jam-packed. The parking lot was completely full, and I think there was a wedding or something going on. There's like a community hall there at the lake, and I actually got invited to a wedding there once. So I think that's what was going on. So I just sort of made a detour and started driving around the neighborhood there, and I went back to this street I'd never been on before, and I discovered some really nice houses, and I wanted to show them to you. I was actually just trying to get back out of the neighborhood, but I don't know, I went beyond the turn I was supposed to, and then I encountered these beautiful homes. First of all, since I was talking about Ampang Lake, I've shown you these houses before, but I thought I would start with these. There's a few houses that are right on the lake, and my goodness, that must be expensive property here in KL, I can tell you that. But there's this one big French one that I've shown you guys before, but it's still quite impressive. And you can see it here from the back along with some of the neighboring houses there. So that's pretty cool. And here I have this old photograph from my old apartment of the houses along the lake there. I can't imagine anything better than having a house on the lake so close to KLCC. Wow, that would be something, wouldn't it? So let me go back to the neighborhood behind the lake. Now, in most ways, it's a really normal KL neighborhood with very modest houses, but there are a few big mansions. Now, right along the lake, you can see here, there's a couple, and there's this brand new one. Look at this new one. It's quite impressive, don't you think? But there's some other ones that I've shown you before that are facing the lake, but across the street. They're not quite as impressive as having actual lake frontage for their property, but they're beautiful houses nonetheless. Now, like I said, I went back to this back street that I'd never been on before, and there was this huge house under construction. So I had to stop and take some pictures. They were working on it. My goodness, it's such a large piece of land too for KL. As I've mentioned before, most properties just fill up the whole land area because property is so expensive here. But this house had a good-sized yard and a big pool I could see. Now, I don't think I'll be able to see any of this after it's finished, but the gates were open and I could sort of see in. But talking about gates, aren't these impressive gates? I really thought they were. But you can see that they don't even have the windows in yet, but it is under construction and it will be finished, I don't think in too long. But I thought you'd like to see it. It's really impressive. But down at the end of that street, I got this beautiful view of this older yellow home that is actually a daycare center now, if you can believe it. But I thought the view of this home from this side was so beautiful, I thought I should show you. Then I found this other really, really big house. At first I saw it from the back, but then I drove around to the front and I took this beautiful shot of it. Panning from one side to the other, you could really see how large this house is. It is really impressive. Now I'll show you the back and do a little pan of the back too. It's pretty impressive from back there too. But as you can see, there's like this parking lot or empty lot right behind it. If I were them, and I'm sure they have the money, I would buy that lot and incorporate that into the house and make some beautiful gardens perhaps. Also in the neighborhood, I thought this house was really beautiful too. I guess it could be considered a mansion, although much smaller than the other two. But I like the coloring. It's not just white, so that's interesting to me. I'm going to put a bit of footage here of me just driving around that neighborhood so you can see what it's like and see what I mean, how it's like normal houses and big houses all mixed together. And here I'm just going to show you a few other ones. Some of them I've showed you before, but some I haven't. But I just wanted to give you a good idea of what the houses were like around Ampang Hill or Lake. And boy, it's impressive. I can tell you that. Just look at these homes. You're not going to find homes like these in every neighborhood in KL, that's for sure. So now that I've shown you the houses around Ampang Hill or Lake, let's take a little drive down Ampang Hill and show you the embassy area and some of the grand homes there. We'll just drive down there and I'll talk to you on the way. My goodness, this is my favorite neighborhood in KL. It's so beautifully tree-lined, and just filled with beautiful homes. Now, a lot of them are embassy-owned or embassies themselves, but a lot of them are privately owned mansions. There's one street in particular that's very hardly ever traveled because you can't get through to anywhere, and it's right on the golf course, the Royal Selangor Golf Course. So the houses on one side of the street actually all back up to the golf course. Now that must be something. I'm sure that property is very expensive. So I parked the car and got out here, and you can see my car parked in front of this wonderful mansion that it looks a bit like the White House in Washington, D.C., if you ask me. I'm sure it has nicer people living in it, though. But directly across from that house is two houses that are in a complex together, and I have watched the progress of this for years. Here you can see this footage I took about 3 years ago while the houses were under construction, or renovation, I should say. And I was impressed at the time, and I showed these two houses in my old video, Houses of Ampang Hill. But you can see them under construction. And my goodness, it took them a long time to finish it, especially since it was a renovation. But here it is now, today, all finished. My goodness, they did a beautiful job. And this goes all the way through from one block to the other. So it's an amazingly large piece of property. And there's only one entrance to the two houses. And I have no idea who owns it or if anybody even lives there. You know, it doesn't look like people have moved in yet, which is kind of odd since it is finished and it's taken them a long time to finish it. But I don't know, it could be embassy owned and they haven't decided what to do with it yet, or I'm not sure. But if anybody knows, please let me know in the comments because I would be very interested. But I love these houses because they're in what I call the Malaysian colonial style. Okay, now I'm going to show you an even older house. And I've shown this house before too. But my goodness, it's my favorite house. And I just wish that some of my viewers would give me some information about this house because I can't find anything about it online. But anyway, it's the grandest house I've seen in KL, I can tell you that. Boy, is it impressive. It has sort of a storybook charm to it, if you ask me. But wow, I can't even imagine trying to find your way around in there. It looks like it must have so many different levels and twists and turns. Oh, I just can't imagine. The gates are so impressive. Look at the gates. And I didn't show it in this picture, but there are lions out front. I suspect this is Chinese owned. Maybe I'm thinking that because of the lions, but I have no reason to say that. But like I said, please, if you know anything about this house, let me know about it. I sure would like to see inside. And if the owners are watching this, invite me over and I'll give everyone a fabulous tour of your beautiful home. So then I drove around the back and got a picture of the back of it from there. There's an empty field in front of it, or just a bunch of empty property that'll probably be a condo someday. But the house is very impressive from the back too. Look at that tower. I guess it's probably a stair tower. And there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know, it makes it look like it's 6 stories tall. It probably is. Now I'm going to show you a few more houses that I showed you before that still qualify as mansions. And it was 3 years ago, so you probably don't mind seeing them again. The first one is this huge Tudor one. I just love this. And this is another one where it's a pair of mansions on the same property. Then there's this other more modern house that I like very much too. And then I'll just show you a couple others here. See if you like them. You know, it's just a wonderful array of architecture here. There's just so many different styles. Some are not discernible styles, but some are. I feel very fortunate to live so close to this neighborhood. You know, if I lived closer, a little closer, I might even walk around a bit. As it is, I'll just settle to drive around. It's way cooler in my air-conditioned car. Now, back on the street that had the house that looked like the White House, I found this other house, mansion, that is just under construction now. In the early stages, I would say, if you can see from this picture. But what I want to emphasize from this picture is, look how close it is to the downtown KL. That's the TRX building in the background. Whoa, you feel like you practically walk to it. Now, I guess you could if you were a big walker. I couldn't though. But man, oh man, this is gonna be a fabulous house. And I'll try to show it to you guys when it's finished. And finally, for those of you who are looking for a place to build your dream home, here's a lot I found for sale. Now, I'm sure you can get this for a song since it's right on the golf course. Just kidding. But if you have the dream of living close to downtown KL with a golf course view, this is the lot for you. And I'll put the picture here so you can see, and you can call them up if you want and make an offer. How about that? Well, I hope you've enjoyed driving around with me and seeing some of the mansions of my neighborhood. I don't know. I've always dreamed of living in a mansion, and now I know I never will, now that I'm 71 years old. But you know, I don't care. I love my home. I love it a lot, and I don't need all that space. Really, I don't. If you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe, and check the notification bell too. That way you won't miss any of my future content. Also, buy me a coffee. Oh, I appreciate it so much when you guys buy me a coffee. It really helps to support my channel. Like I always say, buy me a coffee is about 50% of my income from YouTube. So it's important. I just wanted to make a comment here because last week one of my viewers made a comment that I didn't seem as perky in the video that I did on the campus, that new shopping dining area near me in Ampang. Well, I'll explain that. One thing, I probably wasn't in as great a mood as I am today, but also when I'm out in public, if I spoke like I'm speaking to you now, people would look from like 100 feet away. Who is that man? Who is he yelling at? Because I have a very loud voice. So when I'm out in public and I'm filming and I'm talking, I tend to tone it down a bit. So that can be your explanation. But that's all I have for today, everybody. I'm thinking about driving to the Genting Highlands next week, and I'm going to do a 6-month review on my new car. So you can look forward to that. But that's all I have for today, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye.